The confetti cannon trembled in my hands as 70 guests held their breath waiting for pink or blue. But the white envelope tucked behind my back would paint this room a very different color, the color of truth. My husband stood beside me, chest puffed out like a peacock, completely unaware that his perfect life was about to crumble in front of everyone he'd ever bragged to. The countdown began. 3, 2, but instead of confetti, I was about to release something far more explosive. Before we dive into this story, if you're enjoying this drama already, smash that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this one. And drop your location in the comments. I love seeing where my amazing viewers are watching from around the world. The baby shower was everything he'd wanted. Grand, expensive, and all about him. Pink and blue balloons bobbed from every corner of the venue, while his mother fussed over the gift table like it was a shrine to her precious son's legacy. "My boy's finally giving me a grandchild," she announced to anyone within earshot, clutching her designer handbag like armor. "I always knew he'd make the perfect father." Perfect. The word made my stomach turn. He worked the room like a politician, shaking hands and accepting congratulations with that charming smile I'd once fallen for. "Yeah, we're so blessed," he kept saying, his hand occasionally finding my shoulder in what looked like affection but felt like possession. "This baby is going to have everything. Everything, except an honest father." The photographer captured every staged moment, him pretending to rub my belly, us fake laughing at his cousin's jokes, the whole beautiful lie we'd been living, flash after flash, preserving memories that would soon become evidence of his deception. "All right, everyone, gather round. It's time for the big reveal." The crowd pressed closer, phones raised like tiny cameras, ready to broadcast our joy to social media. His college friends whooped from the back, his work colleagues nodded approvingly. Even his ex-girlfriend from high school had shown up, watching with curious eyes. He squeezed my hand and whispered, "Ready to tell the world, babe?" If only he knew what I was really about to tell them. The confetti cannon felt heavier now, loaded with expectations and lies. But the envelope in my other hand, that carried the weight of justice. "Before we do the reveal," I said, my voice cutting through the chatter, "I have something special to share first." The room quieted. Even the toddlers seemed to sense the shift in energy. I pulled out the white envelope, and his smile flickered for a second. He asked, "What's that, honey?" But something in his voice had changed. Uncertainty crept in where confidence had lived moments before. "This," I said, holding up the envelope for everyone to see. "This is what I discovered 3 weeks ago." I opened it slowly, deliberately. The sound of tearing paper seemed to echo in the sudden silence. His mother leaned forward, squinting. His father adjusted his glasses. 70 pairs of eyes watched as I unfolded the papers inside. "Divorce papers," I announced clearly, "filed, signed, and ready to be served." The gasps came in waves. Someone's drink hit the floor. A child asked loudly, "What's divorce papers, Mommy?" But my husband, no, my soon-to-be ex-husband, just stood there, his mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. The color drained from his face as reality crashed over him. "You see," I continued, my voice steady despite my racing heart, "this is what I discovered 3 weeks ago. In his gym bag, hotel receipts. From dates when he told me he was working late." His hand reached for my arm, but I stepped back. "Sarah, don't. Don't what? Don't tell them about Ashley from your office? The one you've been texting at 2 a.m.? The one's hotel room you've been visiting twice a week for the past 4 months?" The room erupted. His mother's pearls couldn't save her from the shock written across her face. His father's stern expression crumbled into disappointment. The photographer kept shooting, probably realizing this was about to become the most viral baby shower in history. But I wasn't done. As the chaos swirled around us, I let them in on exactly how I'd pieced it all together. It started with the gym bag. You forgot to zip it after your late-night workout. The Hampton Inn receipt fell out right at my feet. Room 237, checked in for 3 hours on a Tuesday when you told me you were in back-to-back meetings. He tried to speak, but his voice came out as a croak. "Sarah, please, not here." "Don't what? Don't tell them about your guy Ashley from your office? The one you've been texting at 2 a.m.? The one's hotel room you've been visiting twice a week for the past 4 months?" The crowd was mesmerized. Some were recording, others just staring in shock. His college buddies had gone completely silent. So I did what any smart woman would do. I hired a private investigator. Detective Martinez. Lovely man. Very thorough. 3 weeks of surveillance, and we got photos, receipts, even audio recordings of you bragging to Ashley about how clueless I was. His legs seemed to wobble. He grabbed onto a chair for support. "The baby. Think about the baby." "Oh, I am thinking about the baby," I said, placing my hand on my belly. "That's exactly why I'm doing this. Because this child deserves better than a father who lies, cheats, and thinks he can play house while having a whole other life on the side." The room was completely silent now, except for the occasional gasp or whispered, "Oh my God." "Do you want to know the best part?" I asked, looking directly at him as his world collapsed. "I know about the apartment you were planning to rent, the one on 5th Street where you thought you'd set up Ashley once you figured out how to divorce me and keep half of everything." His mother finally found her voice. "James Michael Thompson, is this true?" He looked at her, then at me, then at the 70 faces staring at him with varying degrees of disgust and disappointment. His mouth moved, but no words came out.
Are you all hooked on this story? Because it gets even crazier from here. If you're enjoying this wild ride, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Extended fallout, 15 minutes to 18 minutes. That's when he finally snapped out of his shock and went into full panic mode. "Sarah, okay, yes, I made mistakes," he said, his voice getting louder, more desperate. "But we can work through this. Think about our families. Think about the baby. Don't do this here, not in front of everyone." "Work through this?" I laughed, and it wasn't a pleasant sound. "You mean like you worked through your marriage vows? For better or worse, but apparently not for Ashley from accounting?" His father stepped forward, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "Son, what have you done?" "Dad, I can explain." "No," his father said firmly. "You can't. There's no explaining this away." But his mother, bless her delusional heart, wasn't ready to give up on her precious boy. "Sarah, dear, maybe you're overreacting. Men make mistakes. Surely you two can—" "In Mrs. Thompson," I interrupted, "your son didn't make a mistake. He made a choice. Every text, every hotel room, every lie, those were choices. And I'm making mine right now." The crowd was still in shock, but I could see phones everywhere. This wasn't just going to be family gossip. This was going to be internet legend. James tried a different approach. He got down on his knees right there in front of everyone, grabbing for my hands. "Please, Sarah, I love you. I love our baby. I'll end it with her right now. I'll delete her number. I'll do whatever you want." "You love me?" I asked, looking down at him. "You love me so much you rented a separate phone plan for Ashley? You love me so much you told her I was just the baby mama and that you'd be free once you figured out the custody arrangements?" The gasps got louder. Someone started crying. I think it was his aunt. "You recorded me?" he whispered. "Detective Martinez recorded you at the coffee shop downtown 3 days ago. Very illuminating conversation about your future plans." He buried his face in his hands, finally realizing there was no talking his way out of this. His cousin Marcus, who'd always been the family troublemaker, started slow clapping from the back of the room. "Damn, Sarah, remind me never to cross you." "Marcus," his mother hissed, but even she seemed to be running out of steam to defend the indefensible. The party planner, bless her professional heart, was trying to figure out if she should pack up or wait to see if we were somehow going to transition back to cake and presents. The photographer was definitely getting her money's worth today. Resolution: 18 minutes to 20 minutes. I looked around the room at all the faces, shocked, disappointed, some even impressed.
These people had come to celebrate a new beginning, and in a way, that's exactly what they were witnessing. "I know this isn't what any of you expected today," I said to the crowd, "but sometimes the truth doesn't come wrapped in pink or blue paper. Sometimes it comes in legal documents and hard choices." I placed my hand on my belly again, feeling the little life growing inside me. This baby is going to be loved, protected, and raised with honesty. They'll never wonder if mommy lies to daddy or if daddy respects mommy, because mommy is going to make sure they grow up in a home built on truth, not on beautiful lies. James was still on his knees, looking like his entire world had crumbled, because it had. "The divorce papers are already filed," I continued. "The detective's report is with my lawyer. The custody arrangement is already drafted. Supervised visits only until you prove you can be trusted with our child's emotional well-being." I looked down at him one last time. "You wanted to know if it was a boy or a girl? It's a girl. And she's never going to settle for a man who thinks love means having your cake and eating it too." The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then slowly, people started moving. Some left immediately, probably rushing to call everyone they knew. Others stayed, coming up to hug me, to tell me I was brave, to ask if I needed anything. His family was in chaos. His mother was crying into her husband's shoulder. His father just looked disgusted. His siblings were arguing among themselves about whether they'd seen signs and should have said something. But me, I felt lighter than I had in months. The weight of carrying his secrets, of pretending everything was fine, of planning a future with a man who was already planning his exit strategy, all of that was gone. As I walked out of that venue, leaving behind the pink and blue decorations and the man who tried to play me for a fool, I realized something important. Sometimes the best gender reveal isn't about what you're bringing into the world, but about what you're finally brave enough to take out of it. What did you think of this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I will respond to each and every comment because your reactions make these stories even better. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between keeping peace and speaking your truth? Let me know. I love hearing your stories too. And if this story kept you on the edge of your seat, make sure to subscribe because trust me, we're just getting started.